Alright guys, welcome back from your break. Let's just continue. I don't know, maybe this could be some taupe green. I'm just going to put in some different colors so you guys can see the whole spectrum. I'm probably not going to be digging the color scheme, but all good. So I'm going to go back to the color. Now I could technically call this white, right? And then have another layer. It's probably not a bad idea. Tell you what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just call this one white. And then take this one and let's call this one, I don't know, green. Let's do like a green stucco. So let's say we want that to be a green stucco. Again, I'm going to go back in here and select. There's other way to select, but I just, architecture is relatively rectangular, so it's not too bad just selecting like this. And if you're a little bit off, you just come back in and shave it all off like that. And so that's good. Let's take kind of something like that maybe. Alt backspace. No, I'm not taking that. And I don't know what it looks like on your screen, so it'll be interesting, so I wouldn't, I'm telling you, like, I'm getting caught up on the color, but I would tell you don't get caught up too much on the color. You really don't know until you print it. Control D. So anyway, disregard the color scheme. Let's see, let's not, I don't know, let's do it. Let's do like a gray color here. Why not? So I'm going to, hold on one second. Yeah, it doesn't really affect anything else, okay? Because it's already masked. So, let's see, let's go to, and then we'll do the large mass, living room mass in gray. So I'll just do a negative process. So I'll just take the whole box, go to this tab here, take that away. Okay, so I have most of that taken away. Oops. Alright, so let's go to here, which is like 100% black, I guess. This would be 100% black. I think I can go like just a K. Nope. Let's do this. You could also do a regular window swatches too, but I think this. Let's try that. Okay. Try some different colors here. Alright. Control D. So here you go. So it's just kind of coming together a little bit. I do have concrete here. So I'm going to just bring in another texture. Let's try. Here, why don't we try this? This real dingy texture here. And again, I'm not worried about it because it's going to be such a small image. All I'm looking for is really texture. And if this is too gnarly looking, right? Again, this is a smart image. So if you're going to make any kind of quote-unquote Photoshop edits to it, you have to convert that into a rasterized layer. And so here's that. So then now I'm going to just kind of blur it a little bit so that it's not so sharp. All right. And then after that, I'm just simply going to make my selection to make a mask. So hopefully you guys get familiar with making masks in Photoshop. Oh, I was in subtract. Here, let me turn off that grunge layer for a sec. Come back in here, we want to subtract out. Like that. Okay, cool. So turn this back layer on. So I am on this grunge wall layer. I have my selection. I just have to hit my little mask, and there you go. Let me take this image and we will bring down the opacity just a little bit so that it doesn't look so crazy. So, you know, this is a good example. It doesn't really matter what you get. You know, you're kind of using that as kind of a background. So, you know, go to town with it. Let me see here. So let's get some wood action going here. So let me go back to my... So here's another asset that I like you guys to keep. I actually created this folder called Building Material Texture Autodesk. This actually comes from Autodesk, and you know, this is a tileable texture, which is a huge benefit, which we'll go through in other exercises. But right now, I think I'm going to look for maybe something like this board. And let me bring it in here. Zoom out. So obviously that's quite large. So if this thing, let me rotate this. So if this thing was made out of wood and we're going to use this wood as a texture, obviously this is quite large. So I'm going to reduce it. Oops. So that's about the size of a board. Alright, so I'll accept that, and then, yeah, that looks crazy. Alright, but it's okay. It's also because this is so small, these are really small texture maps, but it's good. I'm just using that as a reference, or as just literally a texture. So I'm gonna just expand this out. Oop. I'm going to, let's see, do I show you the brush now or later? No, I'll do that later. Let's just go old school for now. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce this thing to a raster so that I can actually physically edit things in Photoshop. And then I'm going to now unlock so it doesn't, I can stretch it out. And then I'm going to lock it again. But now I'm going to select. Remember, I want to keep everything in this layer. I'm just going to rename this wood texture. So if I control and click on that icon, it'll select everything in that layer, which in theory was only that box. And if I select it first and then I can Alt and then move, everything will stay in the same box, if you will, in the same layer. If not, it'll create a new layer, and then you got to go back and merge them, and it's not so fun. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm good to go there. So again, here's my wood layer. Obviously, I'm going to cut away. So I'm on the wood layer, and I'm going to select my door, which is right here. You can just push delete, which means that I'm deleting that wood, right? So there's the wood. And again, if the wood is too extreme or if it's too saturated, you can edit it, but you could also reduce the opacity, just so that you get this little tinge of wood texture. Oops. Alright, so we are getting close, guys. Let me give you guys one more break and we'll wrap it up.